Wow, this house is cute. But can I really get in the game in this economy? I do have savings, and I am responsible-ish. Ugh, I should bury it. I'm being wild. But what if I'm not being wild, though? Could I actually score a...
Kick off your home buying journey with Zillow's new BuyAbility tool. It makes it easy to find out what you can afford, so you can get off the bench and onto the playing field with confidence. Check your BuyAbility, only on Zillow.
Now, coming in hot off the last step, I was Hector Salamanca in the questions where all I could do was ding, where there was no elaboration. I didn't get to go forward. So one of the questions that was asked was, how's the shred going? And I had to not ding yes, or is it still going well? I couldn't ding yes, but that doesn't mean it's going bad. It just means I'm sitting at that like same weight. So from when I very, very first started, I think I'm like down a couple kegs on that, couple kgs. But now the weather's getting better. The shred, the reason I did the shred on the pod was so I can be held accountable. Starting here fresh, we're kicking in, summer's kicking in, or we're getting into spring, nicer weather. The shred's happening again. I've got my tuna and salad and that ready for lunch today. Mm-hmm. The shred's back on, baby.
So what do you, if you don't mind revealing to the public, what are you hitting the scales at the minute?
I'm hitting the scales at about between 88 to 89.
Okay, so my girlfriend has scales at her house, and I'm weighing in at 190 pounds on that. So I don't know what 190 pounds is. I think that's like
hey Siri,
85.
What's 190 pounds in kilograms? 86.
86 kicks. All right. Okay. So it probably wouldn't be fair to initiate a race to 80 for you and I, but like, I mean,
or is it? Done.
Okay. Do you want to have a race to 80?
Yeah. Do we need to have something on the line though? What's this? And this is, I feel like tough for me, even though I probably got a few extra kegs to lose that could be easier, but I also feel like you're one of those dudes that you just like, I had some gas this morning and I lost 4 kilos.
Probably. I've got a fair bit of gas. Liam, you were...
Been here for the gas.
Okay.
Oh, do you mean how heavy I am?
No, I thought you were leaning in to say something.
Oh, no. I'm listening. Well,
anyhow.
It'll take me a little while to catch up to you boys. I'm 115.
I've been playing... Oh, yeah. All right. You're a big boy, but you're a big lad. And you work out
does. Yeah. What do you do? It's like the vegan training, CrossFit.
Vegan training.
No, just the thing that people don't stop talking about. You know, like
it does have bad rap, but nah, look at me. I'm definitely not in the on the vegan train. But
he's a monster.
Yeah.
What do we feed the kid? But anyhow, so I've been playing futsal on Thursday night, so it's like a smaller soccer pitch.
Yeah,
like. I started playing a few months ago. My gas tank was terrible, but I've been running a little bit as well lately, and my gas tank's gotten a little better.
Oh, that's good.
So more competitive at futsal, but it's on like Donkey Kong. How about this? Whoever wins has the loser has to purchase a nice paid lunch and or breakfast that we film and we review that when we
make a live episode at the thing.
We let people in on the breakfast.
I also think that the loser at that breakfast has to wear something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So like we need to get you like a wig, a certain outfit.
Yeah, I think so. The winner gets to decide what they wear, and the loser also has to pick up the check.
Okay, all right. Well, this could happen 6 years from now, but judging by the but you'll be going in like a Pikachu outfit or something.
80 is tough because, like, I reckon my like not ideal, probably like from a medical standpoint, but ideal from my standpoint is probably sitting around that like 82.
All right, we go on the enchanted magical handshake.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Liam puts in the effects right there. All right, it's on, like Donkey Kong.
Oh my God, you know what has been the best moment of my life? I don't know why that just reminded me of gaming. I just had the little Zelda. Ba-da-da-da. My partner, I've gotten her into Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh.
Yeah, boy.
And it's just a treat because you get them to play and then I get as much joy from just watching it. So it's a real treat. And I got to say, going back to that game, one of the greatest of all time.
I've got to chime in here and say that I recently started playing Pokemon Scarlet version.
Oh.
Now, I've been anti anything post Generation 4, but Pokemon Scarlet's kind of like what I always wanted in a Pokemon game, this big open world thing. The graphics aren't very good on a Nintendo Switch, so you don't get that experience that you do off like a PlayStation or something, but you run around and you go in the water and you see these wild Pokemon. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, so I just finished
Recommend it?
Yeah, I would recommend it. Like the first 2 hours is a bit of a drag. There's a lot of dialogue and stuff like that. But once you get
always are in those games, aren't they?
Well, I feel like it's a new thing because it's on steroids in Pokemon Scarlet. But anyhow, so
we're gonna raise you. Me and Ro are on the new Zelda game. They're like top down. It's like what
Echoes of Wisdom.
Echoes of
you
Wisdom.
You play as Zelda.
Yeah,
any good?
It's great.
It's really good. Like, especially if you come from a Pokemon background, you will just love it. It's snappy.
I'm a Pokemon guy.
Kiddie in the best way. Like it's a joy.
Yeah, okay.
And it's always with those games, it's the little details. It's the music, it's the feel. All those things are so tightly dialed that it just feels great to play.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful seeing all the reactions of that because for a long time, men are so like widely used as the characters in video games and that kind of stuff. And a lot of females have been calling out that they want to play as Zelda. They want a game where they can play as Zelda and have a female protagonist doing that.
I can feel that.
That game has done that. And there are all these beautiful like videos of people watching and just like freaking out that they finally get to play as Zelda. And I think the game, you know, it would have been cool in a more 3D open worldy kind of one, but hopefully this opens the door to more of that and just Zelda being an
they're running out
badass.
of material, surely.
Yeah.
I mean, like you could build Zonai carts where you had like robot heads with laser cannons attached to it where you could drive through paddocks and just annihilate all your enemies. So, like, you know.
And no spoilers on this game, but it's a slightly different gameplay to like the sword swinging like kind of dude, which you can still have little elements of that. There's like a feature that you can unlock, but in general, it's about using your brains and creativity and this magic power that you've got to like navigate the world. And it's a lot of fun. Now, question, little bit of hot goss here. I'm probably under some kind of NDA, so I'm not going to name brands, but I did have a company reach out to me as Golden Brown and they want to fly me over to either the US or UK to be a part of a panel over there. And they've asked for what my compensation would be. And I know how to charge out videos and do that kind of stuff.
Easy.
But I don't know how do you charge out like going to an event?
They get to pick what you wear and they pick up the check.
all expenses paid. So, you know,
it'll be that'll all be covered. My side is now as someone running a business, the days that I'm not here is a financial loss for our business in doing that. So there's a weird thing where I'm like, do I charge out like what I'm losing from my work?
Got this. $1,000 a day Australian, which is like $640 a day US. You know, you win, they win.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good number. I just wondered, is there any protocol?
Reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, I think.
How do you calculate that?
Yeah, I just don't know how you calculate. Like I could just say to them, because I know I've done it before. Someone at a resort was trying to fly us out to Bali and it's like they just couldn't. The amount of money that I'd be losing from not working, it just didn't make sense to like kind of get over there.
That makes sense. Like, you know, that's actually a really practical way of going about it. Like what you're kind of losing, they just kind of match. And I think everything else, you know, if there's out-of-pocket things, that should kind of be...
Yeah, and I'll just say for everyone, I don't know what legality... This is all hypothetical. This didn't actually happen. I was just saying hypothetically if a company did reach out and want to do this, you know, just covering myself.
I find that part of like the business as like, you know, a musician and working as like a freelancer and obviously here, but, you know, putting yourself like what your value is and how to actually price that thing. Those conversations are actually really difficult.
So hard. And you always undervalue yourself as the person. Like when our company was kind of more of a, like just me and my business partner and it was just us, I would always undervalue ourselves. Hang on, we got a delivery here.
They always come during the podcast.
Yeah, well, it's because it's you know, it's...
I got a key, hold on.
Oh, is this the Amazon here?
Blue one.
Yeah, so I was just saying that when it was just myself in the early stages, I felt like you're always undervaluing. Like, yeah, of course I could do that. I'm like, I could just work extra hours and get that in and do it. It's actually been nice having staff members in that I'm paying a wage to. So then when I'm asked stuff, there's a set amount that I'm like, no, it's this much because I know how much it's costing me with the staff here and the time they're spending. So it makes it a lot easier for me to value that time rather than it just being on myself.
Times that by $1 million.
Times it by $1 million.
There
you go. $1 million.
Hey, let's get in. Let's review the episode that just was.
Yeah.
Because Liam actually said that you were jotting down, you came up with some things that you thought of during the podcast that I'd really love to hear you say so we can discuss those. But so let's start with that.
Absolutely. I mean, we were just chatting, like our entire episode was discussing working from home. Kirky has like kind of built this huge episode on the main I was about to say on the main channel that
main
just
app.
came. Yeah, the main app that's already out. But it made me really think of like, solutions. Like, how do we counteract this whole thing? And it also made me kind of ponder on the fact that all these industries are actually so much more connected than we think. This really like highlights the fact that like, the corporate sector, the hospitality sector, all these things are actually so closely woven. And it coming down to like, I mentioned like being a personality hire and all these like little things that you wouldn't get when you're working from home. I think incentivizing them, like mentorships. I was thinking of like all the other stuff that you get from being in at your place of work. Solutions like one that came to mind was like an app. Like if there was a way that we could. Because you always look forward to your morning coffee. Like if there was a way to just be like, I'm actually coming in today. Like if there was a really simple way to
clock on.
You know what I mean? Like I am coming in today at some point, and it's like, maybe they get like a discount if they give you a heads up and they do come through.
That's an interesting one.
Like because there are pre-order apps and that are out there. So if it's more of like a heads up of what's coming in.
What if we call this app Clock On? Because it's like anecdotally, you clock on when you go into work, punch in the Bundy machine. What if we call the app Clock On? There's an idea for someone out there if you want to make that app.
Yeah, but like, it's kind of incentivizing, like, as soon as you come in, you actually do pick up your order. You do come in and you do support these businesses. You get a little discount. You get a little something, Like, I think all the way back it was, the membership cards. You got a little stamp that like made people come back, but like reinventing that, in a way. And then I guess the other parts were like, a collaboration with all these sectors, like trying to get people more involved with a lot of cafes, they're so beautiful in Melbourne. They're gorgeous. Like getting more of a culture of like coming in, also tackling our like takeaway conversations we've had in past apps, where it's like, come sit in for a coffee and like utilize our Wi-Fi, utilize the power, utilize the spaces, make it more.
Ooh, that's a slippery slope.
Comfortable.
I mean, maybe there's the evolution there.
But this is actually a great checkpoint, because what if there was a business where your business was basically lending out office space, right? But it was a great big hall, and there was like, you paid for like an open membership that's got all the free Wi-Fi and free coffee, and you get like really ridiculously good coffee as well.
So like the Commons.
The Commons? Just
like rented out workspaces?
Yeah, well, like a co-working space, but like the whole premise is you get access to these things. You're not really paying per coffee. It's built into your membership, so you get all these really great coffees that is funded well as well.
Right.
That'd be a pretty good place to work.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like kind of more of a mixing ground of like those working spaces, but making it a little bit more communal in the way that it does with the offerings that reach to that kind of Melbourne culture side.
Yeah. But like, I can see how there's a lot of issues with that as well. And people have probably attempted it in some way, shape or form, but.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does lean into like some of those things like the Commons or the others where it's like they have the full kitchen set up. They've got like beers on tap. They've got like, the cafe set up with like good coffee in there.
I guess that goes to my hot take in the previous episode where it was like stick to your niche as well, right? Like what makes a coffee shop is that they innovate in the coffee space and, do that really well and focus on that, not, providing Wi-Fi to, whoever.
Well, it's like, I mean, there is a different thing of can you make the come and work from our cafe, more applicable where it's like people hate it in a space where it's like, get out of our space, stop taking up seats, but maybe there's a way of like reinventing it.
But you lived in America where I believe that's
just everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
People work from the cafe and it's like over there it's a cultural thing. It's not a big thing in Australia.
No.
Maybe we can make it more of a comfortable thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you'd have to think about it because it is that question about like how much is your time in that cafe worth for the service and the people and like all those kind of things.
Maybe having as a offering as well, like, 2 hours of time here on the Wi-Fi with coffee provided. I don't know. Maybe that's a product.
Yeah. There you go. You get your receipt or whatever, and that's your login as you kind of sit there and that side of things.
Yeah, we'll see. Anything else on the...
No, I mean, I think the discussion is just really good. I really think that we should continue. It shouldn't just be like this one app. I think it's awesome that we deep dived it. But honestly, I think this is we're in Melbourne. We're in the heart of it. We're talking about making Melbourne great again, where, the coffee scene especially, and just bringing life back to the city. And I think we can just kind of tap back into this.
Maybe those office buildings that have cafes down the bottom, there could be, rather than the government kind of giving stuff, maybe there could be some payback where if you buy coffee from that shop at the end of the year, you can get like $1 back on each coffee to incentivize people coming in to actually work and that kind of thing. So it's not that they're paying you less, it's that the people who work there pay for their coffee, do that and get it logged. And at the end of the year, it's like you bought 62 coffees, so you're going to get $62 back.
Well, it was interesting because we tried to get Lord Mayor candidate Anthony Koutafidis on. Kouta. And, he politely declined, I guess. He's not coming on the elections like next week. So
biggest mistake. He's definitely going to lose then.
Kouta,
it could have been great for you. We could have had the army of coffee lovers behind you.
Could have had it all.
Kouta had it all.
Yeah.
Could have had it all.
Yeah.
Kouta had it all.
You could have had it all. But
I'm really hungry here, guys. We're just losing. Words are just slipping into one another.
But one important thing as we start this discussion as a podcast is that I really want to drive home the point that we need to uphold our image as an industry. And that's kind of like where I was going to before with let's not burn the goodwill with the people that make us what we are as an industry. Don't attack them. Don't attack the whole work from home thing. Yes, it'd be great if it ended and we just all sold billions more coffees. Awesome. But, that's not happening in reality. And I think, work together in kind of a polite way. We don't need to kiss people's ass. We've got a good industry. We serve a good product that people want and need. So, but we also need to have a bit of goodwill towards it and not just kind of wish for unrealistic things.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's an interesting thing. We had the debate about whether there are just too many cafes or too many hospitality ventures out there, that the pie isn't big enough and maybe there's just too many shops for the amount of people that there is. But the thing that you can't deny is that the city feels different. And on those days, I've been in there where it's a Friday and you're like, this is normally when it's popping off. Normally at 4 o'clock on a Friday, offices are breaking out. They're filling the bars. They're filling the cocktail places and that. Is Thursday the big restaurant night now? What's happened? Is the city busy on one of the nights?
To be honest, I feel like nights are pretty good. The vibe I get is that nights are actually doing well in Melbourne right now.
Right.
But it's the daytime that's not. And there's that's anecdotal because when I go down Swanston Street or Elizabeth Street and during the evening, it's packed. But the Fridays are a shell of their former selves. I don't think there's one day that's really bonkers anymore. There's not really a Friday. They say Thursday is the new Friday. Yeah, I don't know.
I had a business meeting the other day with some guys that work in cocktails, and they wanted us to meet at Caretaker's Cottage in the city, which is, it's been listed in top 50 bars in the world and best bar in Melbourne and all these things. But it goes to show that if you're doing something well, all the other stuff doesn't matter, because we were we'll get there at 5:30. That'll be easy. 20-minute wait. Heaps of people sitting outside in the cold, spitting a bit, doing this. And it was 5:30 on a Wednesday. I'm like, okay, if you do it well, people come.
Yeah, well, and this goes to show the standalone businesses, and this is what kind of I feel reaffirms my point of why the office tower building is not that great anymore. Because you look at a business like Patricia, right? They haven't slowed down. There's still plenty of opportunities out there. But I've spoken to the owner Bowen, who said, before it was a lot of business people that came to the cafe. Now it's far more tourists. So, I mean, they're a bit of an outlier in a lot of ways because they're just an institution in Melbourne, icon, and they're willing to come on the podcast, actually. So you'll probably see them on the podcast in the not too distant future.
Great.
Bowen and Pip. But yeah, I feel while there are still opportunities out there, it's just, that old formula of having the cafe that serves pretty decent coffee at the bottom of a big office tower. It's not the valuable thing, the moneymaker it used to be.
Yeah.
And there's myriad data to prove that. Unlike what I kind of alluded to in the cafe, in the podcast rather, I don't know if there's any data that proves that suburban cafes are busier now than they were before the pandemic. I just don't know that there is.
Yeah, right. I wonder what it's like over in the States. I know we're talking about it here, and I'm pretty sure what we can talk about is Australia-wide. I wonder what it's like over in like the States or the UK or like, I mean, anywhere really, at any place.
Well, funny enough, I was reading about San Francisco. I think, were you living in San Francisco when you were there? I think they've just got vacancies for commercial buildings there are just so high compared to what they used to be. And like quite a, I don't want to be demeaning or anything here, but like quite a big homeless problem there now as well.
Huge. It's just that it's how it is. People need to know. It's horrible.
And my understanding is like that has happened in Oakland as well, you know, to a higher extent. So just across the bay, and it's accelerated post-COVID.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah. I didn't know about it accelerating, but it had definitely gotten worse and worse. And also the divide in that city is just like the uber billionaires of the Silicon Valley. And then this huge, incredible like homeless problem that's happening there. And then also there was like the disintegration of Silicon Valley. A lot of people were going to Austin, Texas, like moving out, work from home. People were like, well, why am I paying $5,000 a month to live in San Francisco when I can go live somewhere else and just work from home? So that city was facing a lot of those types of problems. But it's also different, and correct me if I'm wrong, Americans, but there's still lots of like good smaller coffee shops and that kind of thing, but that place still works off like a big chain method. Like in the city, like it's Starbucks, like a lot of your offices are going to Starbucks. Even like the kind of ones that feel more boutique, like Blue Bottle is still a chain that's owned by Nestle, you know. So it's probably a little different in the way that it works in the major cities. Still lots of more boutique places, but definitely lots of chains.
And sorry, go on, man.
No, I was just going to say, I didn't know Blue Bottle was owned by Nestle.
Yeah, they bought them for like what?
$600 million.
$600 million?
Like recent? Like
no, it was like 2017 or 2018 or something.
Man, okay. I remember going all across the States and being like, hell yeah. Because it's like a Melbourne-based cafe, isn't it?
No, it started in...
Oh, you're thinking of... No.
What am I thinking of?
You're thinking of... No, I'm not sure. It was Melbourne. Bluestone Lane.
Bluestone.
Yeah, originated from Australia. That's in the US.
Yeah.
I got a friend that works for them, Jack Staplefeld. Shout out to him.
Yeah, right.
Staplefeld.
Yeah.
Now, an interesting point that I was bringing in, because it's like guy. Sometimes, you know, it can feel a bit like just a couple bros talking about coffee. I had my friend Bass, shout out Bass, who he's up to episode, 24? So he's catching up, he's getting here. But he called and he was like, dude, the episode with Katie Payne was bloody great. It was good having that kind of different person to bounce off there. So maybe we need to get Katie Payne popping in a few episodes here and there just to get a point of view in, you know?
She's a lyrical thug.
Yeah.
You know, she's very good with words.
Oh, yeah. And
bit of
she's
an
very
entertainer.
funny. The funny thing was Bass goes to me, he goes, and I love Liam and hearing from Liam. And he goes, thing is, Liam just respects you too much. Whereas Katie, you can tell she's just a dick and will like call you out on your bull crap, which she definitely does. So I think there's a fun banter there. But she's great. And also, you know, I think the good thing with this show is about perspective, right? Where we've got someone owning a cafe and, you know, competing in competitions and knowing about every single region of coffee beans that are growing. You've got someone that's doing more of an at-home style coffee, more beginner focused, and then having someone like Katie come in as well that's more of the consumer, I feel like is a nice balance on the show.
Yeah, we kind of want this to appeal to more than just coffee enthusiasts as well. Like, don't get me wrong, that's like very much a part of our audience, but we want this to be a podcast that anyone who's just getting into coffee can listen to. So yeah, absolutely.
And I think the stuff that we talk about, you try to make it like that it's interesting for the people, the coffee nerds out there and that, but it's also like, you know, people love being educated on a topic and information, like work from home, like that applies to so many people in so many different ways. I thought it was a great app.
And on that, how do you think this is going to be received by people? Because I see the work from home thing discussed. I see the coffee price thing discussed so much in the media. Do you reckon we'll get picked up by a mainstream media organization that wants to cover the subject? Because we saw Dan Dick made an appearance on the Today Show recently.
Oh, yeah.
Carl.
That was funny calling him the Ginger Whinger.
The Ginger Whinger. Do we think that some sort of mainstream media will reach out to you or I about this?
I don't know. It's an interesting thing. It's definitely something that's talked about a lot. And as we know, there are already some influential people that kind of listen to this, not to brag, but yeah, I think it could be. I mean, I think our audience we always have like this kind of bubble, as you want to talk about it, where I think a lot of our audience will agree with us. There'll obviously be people that have different living situations and that are will maybe share with us why work from home is better and talk about some things that we missed, which we're happy to hear and take on. But I think if it's from our bubble, I think people will agree. I think if it spreads out to a wider audience on this one, that, there could be some.
Yeah, well, that's why I want it to be. This is one where I think you don't really need to work in coffee to be able to listen to. A lot more people will be able to listen to this one. So I really want people to share it. And
I think it's insightful where it shows the industry that a lot of people aren't thinking about. Like when we talked about the deforestation before, me as a headline, I'm like, deforestation regulation, that is great, but it takes someone to sit there and explain how it's actually impacting other people and changing it. It's the same thing with this work from home. Here's how it's affecting the hospitality industry and the livelihood of our culture as Melbourne. You're like, I didn't think about that. I just thought about it in the way of like, I like working from home.
There's something I actually forgot to mention that just before we wrap up, I'd love to mention this. There's certain areas of vulnerability from companies being entirely work from home. Remember the CrowdStrike meltdown not that long ago?
Yeah.
Well, what if that happens and you can't work from home? Yeah. What office do you go to? You just get a couple of days off. How do they get in contact with you? I don't know.
Sounds like a positive to me.
We had the Optus outage last year. So that one of our big internet and telecom providers.
Optus, yes. More like Optus, no.
They went down for an entire day, really, which, for their customers, it was a big problem, and it kind of shut down some public transport networks that rely on them. So that was a big problem. So there's vulnerabilities. And then what about cyber attacks or cyber warfare? There's more sophisticated state and non-state based actors that are capable of shutting down entire networks and stuff like that these days. So, if you're entirely work from home, you're a bit more vulnerable, aren't you, as a company?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
But you can't hack my brain yet. So
Not yet.
Person. We'll get there eventually with Elon Musk's brain chips.
Oh, good Lord.
I need to do some more digging on that. That seems wild.
Have
they done it yet? Have they done their first test?
I think they've installed one on someone. Yeah.
Did they do it at the Trump rally? Is it in Trump? Is Trump now just a...
Go, Mr. Roboto.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, you were rude. You were rude. He cried like a baby.
Elon Musk, big call, him coming out saying if you don't vote Republican, this will be the last election that's ever held in America.
Has anyone just...
What does that even mean?
So this is arguably the most divisive and consequential election in world history, right?
Yeah.
Has anyone else just clocked off though? Like
Yeah.
I just totally like, I'll let them sort it out. I couldn't give a shit. It's between Kamala Harris. So like this is the irony of the voting. So it's either Trump and all the chaos that brings, or Kamala Harris, who's saying she's going to do all these different things to fix things that happened under the administration she's the vice president of.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't have two great options.
Yeah.
Either way, like you just really don't.
Yeah.
Surely there's I fear. I don't know what could happen. Like, who's the worst? I guess. If you're going to pick between the demons.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, I don't think we need to get into it, but there's a lot of people out there that are just like signing out and going, no one is representing the needs that are really wanted by me, so I'm just not voting at all as a whole.
Saying that though, I've heard that a lot of international, people like here in Oz, it's like the first time they're actually wanting to send in international votes.
Interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, one last hot take on the politics before we sign off is that if you're voting at the next Australian election, do not vote either Liberal or Labor.
Vote the Greens.
I don't care if you vote Greens. I don't care if you vote One Nation. I honestly think just we have to punish those two parties. We have to. We cannot let them I just think the economy is going backwards. We really, what reform has Albanese done? I had so much hope for this government. I really don't think they've done one good thing to change our lives.
Here's me trying to cut off Liam, being like, "Up. We don't need to get into politics here. We're a coffee podcast." And Kirk goes, "Yeah, Liam, shut up." Anyway, don't vote Liberal. Don't vote Labor.
Cooter.
Don't vote Cooter either. He doesn't want to come on the pod. You haven't got my support.
But our opposition leader looks like Voldemort, and he's like, his policies
in that case,
his policies aren't that great either. And our prime minister, like, I don't even know what he does. Like, we don't have any good option.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's been another great episode. We've had the coffee break. Make sure to write in at hello@itsjustcoffeepod.com. Want to hear from you. We've had a few good hot takes written in. We've had a few that have come through. Want to hear your thoughts. Just want to hear who you think is better looking out of Kirk and I. If you want to send that in and just let us know. My vote's, I'm going to vote Kirk because I think you're a beautiful person, but also beautiful on the inside, just a really lovely human.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm going to vote me too.
Yeah.
Nah, just kidding.
I was setting you up with the table.
I wanted to dig the heel in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, please email us in your hot takes. We'll start playing those from next week.
Yep.
And look forward to all the exciting content we have.
Yeah. And I'm going to say, what's our first live event? What are we thinking? Are we doing it at your cafe? Are we going to do it here at the space? Like, what's the...
Well, can we do it here and activate the pizza oven?
Yeah, absolutely. We can do a pizza party.
All right. Well, pizza party. And... Oh, see how we go. Pizza party.
All right. And we want to do it before the end of the year. We should start setting some dates. We should start setting some deadlines.
It's October now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just before the end of the year.
Yeah, I love that. We'll start organizing it. Next week, we'll come back with some more updates on that event for everyone. But thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time on Coffee Break.
See you next week.
And next week, y'all.
Ciao, ciao. Excellent segue to finish there. I like that.
Yeah. And thank you.
Oh, Buzzman.